Y'all, just imagine walking into what's supposed to be a chill boutique lounge shoot. You're dressed to slay, expecting to talk fashion, maybe sip on something sparkling, crack a few smiles for the cameras, and go home with a cute clip for the next episode, but instead, you walk straight into emotional warfare. That's exactly what happened when Yandy Smith pulled up on set, thinking she was filming a light scene and walked directly into a setup so cruel, so cold, that it felt like betrayal was scripted, rehearsed, and waiting to pounce. 1 minute, she's adjusting her outfit, checking her lashes, prepping her lines. The next minute, she's the headline, the scapegoat, the woman with mascara running down her cheeks, unraveling on camera like the very foundation of her piece had been cracked open with no warning. This wasn't just drama, this was demolition. And the crew, oh, they filmed every second. Let's rewind, because the setup was slick. Yandy showed up flawless. Hair laid, outfit tight, that signature glow, on point. She had no clue that what was waiting behind those velvet lounge doors wasn't a producer with a script, but 2 co-stars armed with side eyes, silence, and allegedly months of behind-the-scenes gossip. This was not your average shady brunch. This was a damn ambush. Now picture the room. Warm lighting, velvet couches, candles flickering, cameras softly rolling in the background, the type of space that says sip champagne and compliment each other's wigs. But then Rasheeda walks in stone-faced, dressed like she just walked off a boutique catalog cover. Diamond studs gleaming, attitude sharp enough to cut the tension in half. No hug, no smile, just a nod. Cool, controlled, deadly. Yandy, confused but poised, tilts her head. We good? She asks. Simple, honest, but behind that question is a woman who's been hearing her name tossed around in circles she didn't enter. Rasheeda doesn't even look her in the eye when she replies, yeah, we good. And that was the crack in the dam. Enter Jessica Dime, iced coffee in hand, walking like she didn't just step into a war zone. She gives that smirk, the kind that says, I know something you don't, slides onto the couch, and throws a casual, what's the tea, into the air like gasoline onto a fire. Yandy's eyes lock in, her whole body stills. You know, what's going on, Yandy says, voice firm. Y'all been talking. Now I'm here. So say it. And baby Jessica didn't flinch. We say what we want. What followed wasn't a fight, it was an unraveling. Yandy, the queen of composure, the boss chick, the peacemaker, the strategist, started shaking. Not from fear, but from pure frustration. From being tired. Tired of being everyone's plot twist. Tired of smiling through betrayal. Tired of having to be the strong one while everyone else got to be messy, dramatic, and forgiven. I've been pouring everything into this show, she snapped, voice trembling. My son's acting out in school, I barely sleep at night, and what do I get? Friends talking about me behind my back. Jessica scoffed, not missing a beat. You are the problem. And right then Yandy broke. Not a single dry tear. No polite dabbing. She fell into that velvet couch like her spirit gave up. Her chest heaved. Her makeup ran. These were not performance tears. These were the kind of tears that leave you raw, that catch in your throat, and tear apart every last piece of the mask you wear to survive in this industry. Producers froze. Some whispered if they should cut, others mouthed, keep rolling. Because this was reality TV gold. Jessica and Rasheeda sat there like statues, one sipping shade, the other blinking away. Guilt, or was it pride? Nobody moved, nobody comforted her. They just watched. Yandy muttered, I can't keep doing this, between gasps. And still, no one flinched. Eventually, a friend off camera, unmicked, not glam squad ready, rushed in and wrapped her in a hug. That's when they cut. Not because it was the right thing to do, but because there was nothing left to film, or so they thought. Because what happened next? It changed everything. Within hours, clips of the breakdown hit the internet. Not just stills, full-on shaky camera footage. Leaked from somewhere. Maybe a second unit, maybe someone from post, maybe a rogue assistant producer, no one knows, but someone leaked that moment. And it blew up like wildfire dipped in kerosene. Yandy breakdown started trending. TikTok edits, Instagram stories, reaction videos, fan edits with slow-mo tears. Even those meme pages that never take anything seriously, they were posting side-bys of Yandy crying with captions like she held it together for so long. She finally cracked. Some fans were sympathetic, others, ruthless. She's finally showing her real side. They said, "She's playing victim again," others wrote. But the real explosion came with the second leak. An anonymous blog Shady and Slick dropped a folder called Love and Hip Hop, Unfiltered. Inside, screenshots, alleged group chats between cast members, conversations that dragged Yandy like she was the villain of a soap opera. Jessica allegedly wrote, "She cries every season and then plays martyr. Girl, you're not a victim, you're a manipulator." Another message claimed Rasheeda said, "Even her breakdowns got PR teams. Sis been prepping that cry since the table read." And the fans. Oh, they went full CSI. They matched dates. They studied typing styles. They compared emojis like they were solving a murder case. Some believed it. Others called it fake. But one thing was clear: Yandy was under siege. Even Sin Santana, who wasn't in the episode, hopped into the drama, with an Instagram story that read, "Chilly." The camera caught what should have stayed in text. "Where's the loyalty?" Then came the voice memo. Leaked, anonymous. Allegedly from Rasheeda. Her voice, calm but scathing, saying, "Yandy always wants sympathy, but she don't listen. She acts like she's better than everybody. But when things fall apart, suddenly she's the victim again. Girl, bye." Boom. Viral memes exploded. Fans picked sides like it was war. Team Yandy. Team Rasheeda. Hashtag Dime Time. YouTubers uploaded 40-minute breakdowns analyzing who said what, when, why, and who faked it best. Some said it was calculated. Others called it emotional abuse. And just when the fire started to burn, out Bella jumped in with gasoline. She tweeted, "Some people been fake crying for camera time, but that ain't none of my business." Or maybe it is. No names, but everybody knew. While fans screamed, cried, laughed, and argued, Yandy went silent. Not a post. Not a like. Not even a motivational quote. The queen of engagement vanished. Speculation exploded. Was she okay? Was she plotting? Was she done? Then rumors started swirling that Yandy had lawyered up. Insiders whispered that she was considering suing the network. Emotional distress. Breach of trust. They aired her breakdown without consent, and she had receipts to prove it wasn't supposed to be part of the show. And just when fans started to lean in, another leak. This time, an anonymous email from someone claiming to be part of the post-production team. It said, "That scene wasn't supposed to air. It was too raw, too real, but after Yandy ghosted us for 48 hours, the network made the call. We needed a rating spike. They used it." That email set the internet ablaze. Exploitative. Y'all did her dirty. She cried. Y'all cashed a check. A petition started #ProtectYandy, demanding the network issue an apology and pull the episode, but others weren't convinced. "She's playing 4D chess," one blog said. "She broke down on purpose." Contract leverage. The debate was messy, raw, and ongoing. Meanwhile, Rasheeda hopped on Instagram Live with a fake smile and a half apology, saying, "I never wanted it to go this far. I've always had love for Yandy. We just been going through it. Girl, bye." Jessica. She was posting from Dubai. Champagne in hand. Caption, "I'm not in drama. Drama is in me." Petty. But the real twist. Rumors began circulating that producers were now making cast members choose sides behind the scenes. You either film with Yandy, or you don't film at all. And with that, the set got toxic. Lines drawn. Allegiances fractured. And then Yandy's old friend posts a throwback pic of them together, with the caption, "The real ones know." Cryptic, emotional, dangerous, because receipts were loading. And this storm had just begun. What nobody expected was what came next. Yandy didn't speak. Not a word. No interviews. No social media teasers. No motivational quotes layered over black and white selfies. Just silence. And in that silence, the noise around her grew louder. Blogs speculated everything from a nervous breakdown to a secret lawsuit. Fans flooded comment sections with wild theories. Some thought she was staging her comeback in silence. Others feared she was done, packing up her wig stand and walking away from reality TV for good. But behind that digital blackout, a storm was brewing. Insiders began whispering that Yandy had brought in outside help, not a stylist, not a new glam squad, but a full-blown PR fixer. Not the kind you find on Instagram with a Canva resume. No, this woman had credentials. High-profile Hollywood chaos cleaner. Known for flipping scandals into sympathy, enemies into villains, and victims into rebranded icons. Word was, she had already mapped out Yandy's reintroduction arc. New interviews. a podcast appearance, healing imagery, even talks of a solo docuseries. The strategy was simple: don't defend Rick claim, let the world spin its theories, while she pulled the strings quietly from behind the curtain. And it started working. Slowly, the online tone shifted. Tweets turned from dragging to defending. Influencers began posting soft praise, saying Yandy was one of the few classy ones left. TikTok edits painted her as a misunderstood queen surrounded by chaos. Instagram pages that once mocked her breakdown now posted filtered stills with captions like "We owe her an apology." And then, like clockwork, came the whispers of betrayal from the inside. Allegedly, a production team member had had enough. Tired of watching the narrative spin in the wrong direction, they leaked footage from a never-aired reunion taping, and baby, it was a bombshell. In the clip, Jessica Dime can be seen accusing Yandy of leaking stories to the press. The words come out cold and fast, dripping with venom. "You act like you're above it all, but you're the one feeding the blogs," she snaps. Yandy, wide-eyed and shaking, fires back. "I have never leaked anything. Not one headline, not one story." But Jessica isn't done. "You didn't have to send it yourself. You let your people handle your dirty work." The room is dead, silent, and Rasheeda. She sits there, arms folded, eyes cold, saying nothing, just watching. Then Yandy stands up. She unclips her mic, her hands trembling, her voice cracking as she mutters, "I'm done being the storyline for your insecurities." She tosses the mic onto the floor and storms out. That was the end of the clip. And the beginning of the internet losing its collective mind. Fans dissected every angle. The slow reach for the mic. The way Rasheeda blinked during Jessica's accusation, even the way the producer's voice cracked when he said, "Cut." But if that clip was the match, what came after was the wildfire. Whispers began circling that Yandy's exit wasn't just emotional, it was contractual. That she had walked off set and refused to return until the network issued a statement or agreed to renegotiate the terms of her storyline. And the network, instead of responding with a press release, they did something even messier. They dropped the season 12 trailer early. And right there, in bold voiceover, a producer says, "This season, truths unravel, alliances shift, and breakdowns become breakthroughs." Oh, so now her emotional collapse is a breakthrough. The fans were livid, blogs exploded, tweets raged, petitions multiplied. Even verified accounts began commenting, asking why the show was monetizing someone's pain while pretending it was empowerment. One fan wrote, "If this is a breakthrough, then y'all need therapy, not contracts." And just when the flames couldn't burn any hotter, Rasheeda decided to upload a vlog, not an apology, not a statement, a lifestyle vlog, 19 minutes long, mostly about her boutique's new expansion. But 6 minutes in, she casually dropped her take on the drama. She said, and I quote, "I'm not going into details, but people love to play wounded when they were swinging the whole time. Look at the whole story before you choose sides. Girl, what?" That line alone sparked thousands of angry comments. "This ain't it, Rasheeda. Gaslighting in real time. You watched her cry and sat there like a statue." The backlash was swift. Her boutique's reviews dropped overnight. 1-star ratings flooded in. Fans who had never set foot inside were writing sarcastic reviews about her customer service being as cold as her loyalty. Jessica, of course, took the messy route. Champagne in hand, she hopped on IG Live and laughed her way through a 10-minute roast of the whole situation. "Y'all believe them crocodile tears?" she sneered. Please. She wasn't crying because she was hurt, she was crying because she lost control. And the fans split right down the middle. Some cheered, others booed, but then came the next twist and it flipped the whole game. A former producer who had worked on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta posted a now-deleted Twitter thread. In it, they alleged that Yandy's breakdown had been coerced. That she had explicitly asked not to be mic that day. That she told the team she wasn't mentally up for filming, but she was reportedly told, "If you don't give us something today, we're cutting your screen time." That tweet hit like a brick. Suddenly, the public saw Yandy not just as an overwhelmed cast member, but as someone cornered, manipulated, and used for a storyline she didn't sign off on. Within 48 hours, the network dropped from silent to scrambling. Quiet phone calls started. Publicists prepped talking points. Then, they released a 2-sentence statement on social media. "We remain committed to telling authentic stories. We support our cast in their vulnerability." Translation: "We're not saying sorry, but we're nervous." But it was too late. The hashtags were roaring. Hashtag healing on hip hop, Hashtag give Yandy the mic. Hashtag fire the producers. And then something even wilder happened. A small Netflix-related gossip account posted that the streaming giant had reached out to Yandy's team to pitch a documentary on the dark side of reality television. It was being described as a behind-the-scenes expose on what really happens when cameras stop rolling and producers start playing God. Allegedly, Yandy would be front and center. The working title, Behind the Curtain. Fans went feral. Could she really walk away from love and hip-hop and step into a whole new platform where she had control over her narrative? Sources say, meetings had already been scheduled, and while that was cooking, the set of Love and Hip-Hop was crumbling. Filming reportedly halted. Reunion taping postponed. Cast members were being called one by one and asked to choose, stick with Yandy, new terms, or risk being benched. Because yes, Yandy's team was negotiating hard. Rumor has it she demanded 3 things to return: full editing approval, control over her storyline arc, and a guarantee that specific cast members whose names weren't listed but everyone could guess be reduced to friend of status or removed entirely. The network was panicking. Ratings were dipping. Fans were threatening boycotts. Brands were pulling back. One skincare sponsor reportedly canceled all deals with Jessica Dime. Rasheeda's home line issued a statement distancing itself from all reality TV collaborations. This wasn't just drama anymore. This was financial, corporate, deep and right. In the middle of it all, Yandy posted a plain black image on Instagram with 3 simple words. Time tells truth. That was it. No caption, no tags, no hashtags, and yet, the post hit 500,000 likes in hours. Celebrities jumped in the comments. Tamer Braxton wrote, "Always stand tall. Sis, the truth got legs." Remy Ma added, "You've been real. Let the fake ones spin." Candy Burris chimed in with, "We got your back." Period. The support was loud, visible, and shifting the power back toward Yandy. And then came the final explosion. A blind item landed on a gossip blog, claiming cast members were under internal review by the network for conspiring to manipulate the storyline against a fellow castmate. The blog didn't name names, but everyone knew. Rasheeda, Jessica. The post said the network had received footage, emails, and texts suggesting the two had created false narratives, rehearsed conflicts, and even pitched a plan to frame Yandy as emotionally unstable to secure more screen time. The fallout was nuclear. Yandy's fanbase was screaming for justice. Blogs were counting down to cast exits. Some fans even created mock-up flyers. Gone Girl, the Jessica Dime exit episode. But the reality? Nobody knew what the network would do. What we do know is this: by the time the cameras roll again, everything might change. The cast, the rules, the show itself. And while Rasheeda tries to stay quiet and Jessica laughs off the chaos, Yandy's silence remains her loudest statement. Because she's not just surviving the scandal, she might be about to flip the entire game. And the industry is watching while the cameras stopped rolling. The chaos behind the scenes only grew. Yandy had gone from emotional collapse to strategic silence, from target to headline, and now she was the unexpected power player in a game she never asked to play. The producers thought they'd milked her pain for ratings. What they didn't count on was her turning that breakdown into leverage. Because behind closed doors, Yandy wasn't just licking her wounds, she was renegotiating her image, her narrative, and maybe her future beyond VH1. And the streets were buzzing in the weeks that followed the trailer drop, and that eerie breakdown becomes breakthrough line. Everything on set froze. No new scenes, no confessionals, no filming. The vibe on the ground was toxic. Cast members were avoiding each other. Crew was walking on eggshells. The network didn't know whether to side with the talent or the outrage. And Yandy, she stayed locked in her silence, but her team moved like chess masters. Allegedly, her publicist began privately reaching out to media outlets with a message. Yandy wasn't broken. She was setting boundaries. She wasn't quitting. She was demanding respect. And every blog, every entertainment site, every podcast host worth their mic wanted in. They knew she had the juice. But Yandy didn't take the first offer that came. No. She waited. And then, with precision, she chose one podcast, one of those viral sit-downs, all moody lighting, oversized couches, and emotional confessions, and she let it rip. The interview dropped late on a Sunday night. No warning, no teaser, just a thumbnail of Yandy, barefaced, eyes swollen, lips pressed into a tight line. The title read, "They broke me but I'm still standing." Within minutes, it was trending. Within an hour, it had over 100,000 views. And by morning, it was all anyone was talking about. Yandy didn't name names. She didn't drag, but she didn't hold back either. She talked about betrayal, about feeling used, about being set up emotionally while others watched her fall apart. Tan did nothing. She said, "Some of the people I called sisters, people I defended in rooms they never even knew about, sat there and let me drown. Some of them clapped." The interviewer asked if she thought the breakdown was intentionally pushed to the center of the show. Yandy paused, took a deep breath, then answered, "I think some people forgot I'm not just a character, I'm a human being." And what they got was a real woman hitting her limit, not a scene. Clips from the interview hit social media like lightning strikes. One in particular went mega viral, her voice cracking as she said, "You can call me dramatic. You can call me fake, but you won't call me silent anymore." The fans erupted. Even people who'd been skeptical weeks earlier suddenly flipped. "We were too hard on her. She's the only one speaking with integrity. Y'all really broke this woman and tried to turn her into content." The tide had turned, fully, and for the first time in love and hip-hop history, the villain arc had reversed. On the editors, and then came the final nail. That anonymous producer who had posted the deleted thread weeks ago. They returned, and this time they weren't hiding. In a bold Instagram live session, face visible, name on display, they confirmed it all. The breakdown was real. The pressure was real. The manipulation, also very real. They explained how scenes were pitched, emotional triggers were discussed in planning meetings, and cast tensions were quietly encouraged behind the scenes to make sure the drama stayed hot. They said Yandy's refusal to perform in certain scenes had made her a target, that she didn't give enough mess, that she was often labeled difficult simply because she didn't want to scream, cry, or fight on cue. And when that breakdown finally happened, the producers were giddy. According to the live session, one of them even said in the control room, "This is Emily Payne, keep rolling." That sentence alone set fire to the internet. Now, it wasn't just fans watching, advocacy groups got involved. Mental health professionals began weighing in. Articles were published about the ethics of reality television, about trauma as entertainment, about how black women are often pushed to perform pain for profit, and at the center of it all Yandy once dismissed, now the face of a reckoning. The network responded. But this time, it wasn't subtle. Contracts were reportedly pulled for review. HR meetings were held. And, quietly, without any public announcement, both Jessica Dime and Rasheeda were removed from the official season promo materials. Cast bios were updated. Photos were changed. Storylines were reevaluated. No drama. No apologies. Just absence. Vanished, and yet, the questions kept spinning. Would they return next season? Would they make surprise cameos? Would they be recast under new titles? Or had Yandy's negotiation worked so well, they were now officially on the blacklist? Meanwhile, the rumored Netflix deal was getting louder. Sources claimed Yandy's team was in final talks, not just for a docuseries but a full multi-episode arc chronicling the breakdown, the backlash, the leaks, the betrayal, and the industry that nearly consumed her. Working title updated, unscripted. Platforms were already circling. Hulu allegedly made a counter-offer. Amazon was monitoring buzz. The industry was watching closely, and here's the twist nobody saw coming. According to internal whispers, the Love and Hip Hop production team may have begun vetting entirely new talent for next season, as in a full reset. Because with this kind of scandal, you don't rebuild, you start over. Some say Yandy may not even return. Not because she was fired, but because she's outgrown it. Because what was once a launching pad has now become a warning sign. But before any of that becomes official, the fans want one thing: closure. And allegedly, the network is scrambling to deliver it. Rumor has it that a special episode is being tracked, a sit-down, not a reunion. Not a fight. A moment of truth. They want to put Yandy in a chair. No cast, no crowd. Just one-on-one with a host. A long, unedited look back at the season, the breakdown, the leaks, the aftermath. But here's the kicker. Word on the street says Yandy hasn't said yes. She's waiting, watching, calculating. She knows what she's worth now. And if they want access to her pain again, they're going to have to pay, not just in checks, in narrative, in power. Because this time, she's not playing by their script. She's writing her own, and the people. They're ready to watch it. So now the question isn't whether Yandy will return. It's whether love and hip-hop can survive without her. Because what started as a petty moment in a velvet lounge turned into a televised breakdown, a leaked scandal, a public uprising, and possibly one of the biggest turning points in reality TV history. This wasn't just a fight. This was a shift. This was a woman cracking under pressure, standing back up, and flipping the entire industry on its head. Rasheeda tried to play it cool. Jessica tried to laugh it off. The producers tried to cash in, but Yandy, she became the story. Not the side character, not the plot twist, the story. The truth behind the edit. The face of the fallout. And whether she returns to VH1, launches her own docuseries, or walks away from the cameras entirely, one thing's for sure, she changed the game. And now everyone's watching what she does next. So what do you think? Was Yandy really set up? Was her breakdown real or strategic? Did Rasheeda and Jessica deserve to be couture? Were they just caught playing a game that finally turned on them? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, because if you think this was the end, oh baby, the next chapter's just getting started. And trust when it drops, we'll be right here, with the full tea. Hot, unfiltered, and burning all the way down.